It's just
Oh,
too perfect. It's just too perfect.
oh, there's such good energy in that song. Didn't you
Isn't
just hear it?
there?
The love and oh,
I mean,
happiness and euphoria.
well, all of that. I mean,
Yeah.
he was a great, great, imperfect man, as men
Hmm.
are. You know, you can be a great man and you can be an imperfect man at the same
Hmm.
time.
Oh yeah.
Yes, his wife said he was a little too much with the ladies.
I think all four of the Beatles had that reputation, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, evidently, yes, she said that he would talk to a lady and it was like she was not even there.
Oh,
That's what his wife said. The
yeah.
second wife, yes.
I didn't realize that. I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, he was the sexy professor, right? Well, that was how
He
I
was a
always thought.
Beatle.
Well, he was a Beatle, but he was also the smart, sophisticated professor who didn't particularly like drugs, and he thought he
Hmm.
he, he didn't like what he saw in these places like Woodstock with people lying around in
Mm.
the muck.
Oh
You
my.
ever, yeah, if you ever see interviews, oop, am I hearing a whistle somewhere?
Are you hearing a
Uh,
whistle?
no, I think we're okay.
Okay, good.
There's no echo, right? Is our sound okay?
I hope so. You sound good to me.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess we'll hear from viewers if we're
I
having
can
any
put earphones on if
audio problems.
there's a problem.
Yeah, I started
So,
doing that. So
yeah, you're doing it, and so I will do it.
yeah.
Well, talk to us while I do this.
Oh well, Whimsy. Perfect.
How was your time while I was in Japan?
I've just been working on a lot of artwork, a lot of personal projects, some writing endeavors, catching up with people. Had a birthday yesterday. Speaking of Beatles, same age as an age that was sung about by the Beatles. I turned 64. I'm admitting it to the world. That's my age, but I had a great day. Just a lot of love. It was
What was your
that was a
age? What is your age?
64.
Oh, that's a
That's
song.
why it's
Well, yeah,
ironic we're talking about the Beatles.
so you're middle age according to the Talmud, right?
I
Because the
feel,
Talmud says at
yeah,
least to 120 if you
you know,
keep
I feel
yourself in
great.
good shape.
I feel young. I feel great. I feel like I always feel like my life is just starting. I have that same enthusiasm I had at the age of 20. It's all beginning, new possibilities. Things are happening all the time. New roads to go around. So it's all good. But the theme of yesterday, I said, jokingly about the Beatles and 64.
Hmm.
I also thought of the Beatles song with a little help from my friends
Oh,
because
yes.
all day long I was deluged with phone calls, texts,
I'm sorry I didn't
messages.
call.
Oh,
But I
don't
gave you
worry.
money.
Yes, you did.
That's
That's
more
good. That's
important,
always
right?
good. Yes,
Did
but
not bother him, left him alone, just sent him a wad of cash. That's a good,
no, but it was
that's
what
a
I'm.
good friend.
That's
Hey.
a good friend. No, I was just saying I was surrounded by a lot of love yesterday, and you just don't get a better gift than that. And so I felt like I've started my next ascent around the sun uh,
Okay.
in a
Yeah.
very positive way. And today we're doing a show. It's so good to be here. I've missed doing this with you, Whimsy. I'm
I
happy you're
miss
back.
you. I miss you. I miss our Taco Tuesday crowd. Maybe you can go and say hi to them. You want to turn the
Yeah.
camera around? Tell me who's here.
Oh, this is like romper room with the mirror. I
That's
see
your yeah.
Patty, I see
Let's
Nancy.
see who it is.
No, but let's see here. Sully, happy birthday! Well, thank you, Roseanne. We have Rosa here. Oh God, lots of nice happy birthday messages here. Anne and Kay. Wow, I should put my glasses on right now so I can see this a little
Well,
better.
let's see. I got the glasses,
Roxanne,
but I still need your help.
yes. In fact, I'm going to put them on. You know what the problem is? I can see this, but I have this light, all these bright lights on me, so it's hard to go from that to the screen. So here, let me just do that. Okay. So Rush, well, happy birthday, Roxanne, Diane, Kay. Oh,
We
thank you,
love Chuck.
everybody.
Yes, yes, we
Oh,
love you,
and
Chuck.
Roxanne assured us that our sound is good.
Awesome, possum.
Yeah,
Well, we do have a lot of news to go through today. There's a
we sure
lot
do.
going on. As many of you know, Joe Biden is attending the NATO Summit, where Zelensky is there and reaffirming his commitment to
Yes.
supporting Ukraine in the war. What do you think about all that, Chuck? How you feeling about that?
First of all, I was happy to see
Excuse me.
dynamic, strong, forceful, charismatic. He's got a lot on the line right now. He's got a lot to prove that he's capable for this job after, shall we say, the elephant in the room, the debate. I thought he gave a wonderful speech. What I saw of him, it was like the old Joe. When I say the old Joe Biden, I mean that in the best way, not derogatory old Joe Biden. It was very good to see that. And yes, and this is the 75th anniversary of NATO. I understand they were having their meeting in the very room where it originated.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and what a testament. 3/4 of a century later, this endures.
Now, is this in the United States or was this in Europe?
I don't know. I don't know. I just watched the coverage, and
I think it was New York. Is that right? Am I wrong about?
Well, I know the United Nations was formed in New York, but I'm not sure about NATO. I feel very ignorant right now. I should know this.
Well, I'm sure
I feel like I'm busted. Someone will tell us. Yes. But I just saw the coverage on the news, and I was I guess I was just impressed to see Biden, because I'm cheering for him. I'm rooting for him. I want to see Biden back in his element. Show us what he's made of.
I don't think the Republicans are going to get what they want, because we are not going to vote against Roe v. Wade. We are not going to, as Democrats, we're not going to stay home, and we're not going to say, well, it's the same as Trump. If you think that Americans are going to become apathetic after January 6th and after what the Supreme Court has done, I think you're living in la la land.
Oh, my God. What the Supreme Court has done, basically appointed him a king. I mean, when I say him, I mean Trump, but any president. It could even be Biden right now. Look at the power Biden has right now that he could be utilizing because of what the Supreme Court has done.
I hadn't thought about that. Like he could take the guy out and shoot him.
Order Navy SEAL I think a lot of us thought
Order Navy SEAL Team 7 to take out.
Yeah, he could
a political rival.
Trump right now,
Yes, but we don't think like that.
No, we don't. No,
we're Democrats.
He doesn't think like that. Yeah.
We go sit in a yurt and smoke weed and cry, and we can't handle we can't handle bad news in large doses. Democrats are hypersensitive people.
We are. We're very sensitive.
We're very sensitive.
And I'm a Cancer. That's my zodiac sign. We're very, very sensitive people. Very intuitive.
I love Cancer men. Cancer men are great for that reason.
We get our feelings hurt easily, Yeah, we're very sensitive, good people. We wear our hearts on our sleeves. We give our hearts, and we tend to get our hearts broken because people don't give back the same love that we give. But that'll tie in with some of the other things we're going to talk about today with our movie reviews and everything.
Oh my God,
we have a big show today.
We have. If people can like and subscribe the stream, if you like funny, wacky news, and if you like psychic readings with two really cool people, help support our humble channel.
Yeah,
we absolutely love it.
Are we really cool people?
I think we are the coolest. Well, speaking of wives, Melania is missing again, but I guess she's renegotiating how much to be paid.
Yes.
But, you've got the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to wives. But you've got a great wife here, Navalny's widow. Have you heard about what's going on with her?
Oh, yes. So she was arrested. Was it today or was it yesterday that she got in front of a crowd to condemn Russian authority and Putin after the death of her husband? She claims they're responsible for her husband's death and she was also going to take over leadership of her husband's anti-corruption foundation, which of course posts investigations about Putin and the Russian government. So guess what? She got arrested.
Now they're saying she was arrested, or they ordered her to be arrested and she left the country.
Well, I could be wrong on this. As I understood the news story, she had been arrested. She had been detained. But
Okay.
again, perhaps our viewers know more about this. They can tell us more.
Yeah, I wasn't sure from the article about that. Certainly, we can do the Empath's prayer and we can go in and take a look at that. And of course, for fun, because we always do want to have a little fun, we are going to be doing 2 movie reviews.
Yeah.
Chuck and I do movie reviews. That's something we do, like Barbie. People have actually asked that we do more of it, believe it or not.
And I love doing it. You know how
Yeah.
I love movies.
Right. And I love having you do it for us. So,
thank you.
and with us. So, because, well, you're an actor and an entertainer, so you can always do that. And we also have the other one. So, we're going to see 2 films. We're going to see 2 trailers today, and Chuck and I are going to review it because we've seen both of these films. They're both by Diablo Cody. They both have, believe it or not, they're dark topics, but I think they have an ethical message. Don't you agree?
I do agree, especially the first one, Moving On. Lisa Frankenstein, that's an odder film. That was a little harder to decipher, but I get what you're saying, and I do agree with you.
How we look at our shadow and how we deal with it. So we're going to be talking about that. And then later in the show, I am extremely excited to have the amazing Audrey Stidle with us. Audrey Stidle is the author of The Fallen. It's an amazing mystical ghost romp. I'm telling you, this book is really good. I am so disappointed. I set it out to take it with me to Japan, and I was sick in bed in Japan and didn't have a book to read, and I was like so upset because I wanted to read The Fallen. So I have not gotten, full disclosure, I've not gotten as far as I like, but I do read it every night before bed for about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So please don't give away if you've read it till the end. But so far, so good. I was saying to Audrey earlier, I feel like the main character, Rowan, is so like she's a lamb to slaughter throughout this book. Did you get that impression also?
I did. There's a lot. I could feel vicariously. That's what I loved about what I was reading, when an author can take you into that world so well. And I'm going to mention to her how cinematic the book feels. I could. Didn't you feel this? You could visualize it. You could hear the sounds. You could even smells. All kinds of sensory.
Yes. She's quite. Look, we've been very fortunate. We've had some great writers here.
Almost every month.
We select the books ourselves, and so far there's been 1 or 2 that I did not feel was appropriate. And so we don't always accept every book, but she's quite good. All right, let's go ahead. Let's do the Empath's prayer.
Okay.
We'll answer a couple quick questions, and let's see where they take us. Okay, let's do it. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively as a community, we say, Amen.
Amen.
All right, so let's go into the first story. I do think that is the story that I thank you, by the way, to everyone who sent emails. Thank you to Billy Verde. And I believe April also sent the stories. I receive your stories and questions in my email at whimsyanderson@gmail.com if you want us to cover the stories here on the show. Number one thing people wanted to talk about is the arrest of Yulia Navalny. And I think that it speaks to just how desperate Putin is to control the narrative in Russia.
Yes.
What do you think? Can you want to talk about that?
Well, I think that's almost a given. He's desperate to control the narrative. It's about all he has left. I mean, the money is running out. Hasn't it been speculated that he is broke? I was looking that it's estimated the Ukraine war has thus far cost Russia something like $211 billion. and their economy is tanking right now. So yes, I think he's desperate to control any kind of narrative, any kind of PR, put any spin on this. It's about all he has left.
Do you think, and this is the question that was the number one secondary question. Look, you guys are further along than I am. Do you think that she could be voted in as the next president of Russia? This is coming from...
Oh.
I mean, there's something about this woman. I'm thinking she could be the president of Russia.
Wow.
What do you think? Let's go ahead, and could she be the president of Russia will be the first question.
I'm just going to put that to the pendulum and see. Could she become the next president of Russia? Could she be the next president of Russia? I'm getting a no. What are you getting?
Maybe. What about someday rather than next? Because they could have an interim.
When I get that, because I started to actually ask that question, it went from no. There's a space between the no and the yes, which is, of course, maybe. So I'm getting it moving more in that direction of a maybe, but I'm not. Okay, let me ask again. Could she in the future be president? Okay, now it's moving to a yes. When I say in the future, could she be president?
Yeah.
Yes. Now look at that.
I can see them having an emergency person in there before they can have free elections. But let's take a look at her cards now and see what the cards are like for Yulia Navalny, and whether or not she's going to be okay in the near future. I'm a little worried.
Yeah. Well, and I do not mean this in any way to be a sexist question, but do you think Russia is ready for a female president?
Yeah, I do.
Well, that's good. I'm glad. Okay.
I'll let you go first.
Well, I just go. My method often is just to keep moving the cards until they literally drop out. And I had two fall out immediately. Invention and risk. Invention, ingenuity, creativity, a good mind, obviously risk involved. But this was the third card, psychic awareness. I get that she's a very intuitive woman in addition to being inventive. Like she's got her finger on the pulse of what's going on. She's intuitive. And that in itself could give her a lot of bravado and bravery, hence risk-taking. Like this could fuel that along with her inventiveness. That's what I'm getting from these three. I fell out of my deck.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like when I stand in her shoes as an empath, I use HCRV quick technique. By the way, class starts tomorrow. If you want to join us for the Tarot class at 6 p.m. tomorrow, I'm very excited. We're learning Hebrew. Learn to read Hebrew, my friends. Learn to read the Bible in Hebrew. Yeah, we're putting people through all of the rigmarole. Tomorrow. We've already gotten to Aleph and Bet. We've got the two Hebrew letters, Aleph and Bet, and Gimel and Daled we're doing tomorrow, and maybe we can do one or two more, and then you're going to be able to read a couple Hebrew words. It's going to be good, and we're going to see how it's connected to the Tarot, the Torah. It's good stuff. So listen, okay, somebody's back. So I was going to say that when you go into her energy as an empath, as a remote viewer, you get the feeling that Miss Navalny is ready to die for her beliefs. She is ready to go to her death, to be with her husband in death. This is a fearlessness. It's interesting. A good man stands in her seventh house. The card of the good man. Her husband is with her beside a good woman. So every day of Yulia Navalny's life is spent with her husband he is in her heart, she is in his heart, and she is ready to walk in front of the firing squad and die with him.
Yeah.
This is the level of pain. She is the woman who sits and waits by the window for her lover. Who is she waiting? The man who gave her the ring. I'm telling you, this woman is shoot me. I'm already
Yeah.
beyond grief after what you've done to my husband. So go
Yeah.
ahead and kill me. And I'll tell you something else she's saying. You are such a pathetic worm of a man. You're going to kill a grieving widow. That's how
Yeah.
fucking pathetic you are. Pardon
Yeah.
my French. Go ahead and do it. And the entire world will see you committed genocide in Ukraine and you're shooting down a weeping, crying widow because
Yeah.
you are a loser. And
Well,
that is the point you come to when you are channeling Kali and you need to crush and destroy this toxic type of narcissism.
yeah.
And that is the purpose of the time of Kali. It is to crush and defeat the ugly by simply letting them see the mirror, letting the ugly Dorian Gray see his own, without the propaganda, see his ugly true face. And
Yeah.
when you stand in truth, like Julia Navalny, nobody can scare you. And I'll tell you something else. Her final outcome is commerce and trade and communication. The entire world is disgusted with Putin after what
Yeah.
he's done. And if he
Oh, yeah.
thinks torturing and killing Navalny's wife is going to make him more popular, he is sadly mistaken. It only makes him look like the pathetic worm he is, picking on a grieving widow. What an
Yeah.
ugly, pathetic excuse for a man.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if he hurts her, that is precisely what people are going to think. So knock yourself out, Putin.
Yeah. I felt that's basically what she did when she stood in front of the crowd, knowing full well she was going to be arrested. She was going to be taken away. It was the equivalent of going before the firing squad. In fact, it could have been a literal firing squad. She could have been shot right there on the spot. But you know how sensitive I am to eyes. I've talked
Yes,
about that many times
yes.
with my work. I was just, that photo you had up. While you were talking, I was just looking into her eyes, and I see everything you're talking about. I see incredible resolution. Yes, she is willing to lay her life down. Yes,
Yeah.
I got that strongly just from her eyes without knowing a thing about her. I'd never
Yeah.
looked at that photo before.
Yeah, I mean, it really has that kind of aspect that, we're really dealing with love and wives and relationships and revenge. This is a deep show, but when I thought about the way that we were prepping for the show and I thought
Yeah,
about all of the questions and what were coming in, I thought, this is a show about interpersonal relationships. This is a show about men and women, about love and hate, about revenge, and the complicated nature of relationships. And every freaking thing we're addressing today, it's man, woman, hating on each other. And
yeah,
look what happened with Navalny's wife. She is, look at the level of loyalty that she is so in love with her husband. You cannot break her
yeah.
and you cannot shake her. And now
And
we have
we got
evidence
the
number.
antithesis. This picture is the antithesis. I just thought, oh,
We got
look at the lovebirds. What a charming couple they make.
well, we got to go there. We got to go.
I know, but oh, could she look any more miserable? Like, keep off of me, you creep. Don't even touch me.
Okay.
Where's my paycheck? I'm sorry, but that just, oh, God, they look so miserable. She looks so miserable, I should say.
You're making me laugh so much I can't even ask all the questions. People have a lot of questions about this.
I better shut up. Okay.
Number one question for readers right now: are they even together at all? I mean, is that a stupid question? I don't know. This is what people ask me. Hey, you guys ask the questions. I'll tell you why this came up. It came up why people were writing in. Well, the Navalny one, I had 2 or 3 questions this morning. April, Ville Verde, and a couple of other people sent it. The Midas touch stuff is because she's just taken off, they say. And that's really weird to me. So, did she take off because she's just can't take it anymore? Or is she taken off because she'll be back again, but you're going to have to pay her more money? I don't know if even more money is going to bring her back. What do you think, Chuck?
That's the hit I get. This is a power play. This is nothing more than cold business. You want me to stick around? You pay me more. and she's probably wanting some big collateral or something, because he's probably broke right now, so he's got to come up with something tangible for her to stay around.
Okay, so I guess my next question is: you think that she's going to stay? Or do you think? I don't know. I don't know. We can go ahead and throw on it.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not so sure. I think it's going to be interesting around the time of the Republican convention, because that's usually when the wife comes out and gives a speech for her husband of support and
plagiarizes Michelle Obama.
Yes.
A better future for our children. Yes.
Oh, that was so
your word is your bond. Yes.
Did you see that? How they had the two speeches side by side? They had video of Michelle Obama saying the words, and then she was saying basically the exact same thing. Oh, it was so embarrassing.
Yeah, very embarrassing, but she thought it was funny. Okay, yeah. So is she going to be part of the campaign? Let's just check that.
I don't know. Is Michelle Obama going to be? I'm sorry. I just made a mistake. I said Michelle Obama. Is Melania going to be part of the Trump campaign? Okay, it immediately went to a maybe to kind of a yes, but not a firm yes, more like a maybe. Like this is still in the negotiation stages, like we were kind of joking and talking about. That's what I'm getting from the pendulum. Very much a maybe. I should hold this up, but that's what I'm getting. Maybe.
I'm thinking maybe. I'm thinking maybe even no. Like I'd be pushing it. Like it wants to go to a no.
Oh yeah, she's got him over a barrel. I think she's.
It could be that she wants her life back. Let's do some cards on it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she never signed up for this anyway. She went into this thinking she was just going to be another trophy wife. She never dreamt she was going to be the first lady of America. Neither did we.
We've got one more wife. Well, a couple more wives, but today it's relationships. You guys had questions.
I had to look for the card. Actually, I had a card pop out, and then I accidentally put it back in the deck. Boy, I'm off today, but I felt this kind of said it. You know what I fell out of my deck, Whimsy? Gifts. Meaning payoff, jewelry, gold coins, stocks, what have you. Gifts. Yeah, she's got him over a barrel. She wants to be paid big time. That's why when I saw this card fall out and I couldn't find it again, I had to pull it out over. But I thought, yeah, that says it right there. At least to me. Well, what did you get?
God, it's like she is him. First off, she sees herself as a thief, the mice that is thief that steals the cheese. Yeah. So an old man who's desperate. Let's see what I want to rake as much money from this desperate old man as I can get. Yeah. This is a thief card. Mm-hmm. The mouse that sneaks the cheese. The other, the clock is running out for me. Tick tock, I'm an old man and time is running out. And I am the thief that is going to take everything before you die. Who is she? Her hope and her fear. I am the snake. This is not a woman who loves this guy.
No. I don't think she's going to be buried on his golf course. Like a Ivanka.
Final outcome is the home. So she could be agreeing to a home because of a price. Ring, a gift. Same exact as you.
Gifts. Yeah.
Yeah. So I came up with, boy, man. So she stays in the home because pay me the money, honey. No money, no honey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Gee.
Well, that was happy.
Talk about selling your soul to the devil. Yeah.
I don't even know how to interpret that. It sounds
like they deserve each other. It's like in an odd way, they're made for each other.
Okay. And no Taco Tuesday would ever be complete without spending a little time with the royal family. Oh. By request, they want to know about this relationship. Now, it appears, yes, I know, we got to talk about it. How bad was it? Her hat is positioned so that she doesn't have to look at him. His
Yes.
own parents, his own father, they said did not speak one word to him for 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he look at the body language.
Well, I mean,
Father wants nothing to do with him. Wouldn't he even speak to him? Spoke to his, excuse me, to his wife instead. He was in the doghouse. As he was leaving, he was the one that had to leave last.
yeah.
He was the last to enter and the last to leave. Talk about humiliation.
Yes.
He was so humiliated that Sophie, Princess Anne's mother, the daughter of Princess Anne, put her arm on his shoulder as an act of sympathy.
Oh.
And according to voice experts, he was saying to her, cut it out, you've won, because she refused to talk to him.
Wow.
And he just had to stand there smiling while he was ignored.
He's there with that. His teeth, look how gritted they are. He looks like he's passing gas or something. He's got indigestion. But I love the comment you made, what was it, 3 weeks ago, about her what she's wearing. It seems to be patterned after Eliza Doolittle in My Fair Lady.
Right. And I don't think that people really saw it. What was it called? The Trooping of the Colors, right?
Yeah.
And it was 2024.
I think so.
To me, because I'm an empath, I'm really, I can see this, this, whoops, let me go ahead and play this, and then you guys, you can see what I saw. Again, apologies for the cough. I'm getting over COVID. Oops. Now, they come out.
Are you a healer, intuitive, empath, light worker, spirit guide? Maybe you felt called
to witness the flight past to mark the King's
She will not
official
talk to
birthday
him.
by the Royal Air Force.
Look at this. He's desperately trying. First, he tries to communicate with her through the children.
Yes.
And
Charles will not talk to
is
her.
Wearing the D-Day markings of black and white.
See him trying to
around
talk
its
to her?
fuselage.
No one's talking
Which we
back.
remember from
Right.
the commemorations recently. There's a great roar as the aircraft fly over.
How humiliating.
Yeah.
He's talking to nobody. No one's talking to him. He's talking to himself.
So the single C-17 Globemaster, one of the great
She hates him.
transport planes of the Royal Air Force, which enable large movement of troops from
Now she's
one
whispering, we'll talk later.
operational theater to another.
You see?
Yeah.
She says to him, we'll talk. He says, it's enough already. It's enough already. You won. You've won. And then you hear her whisper. You see her whisper, we'll talk later.
Yeah.
We'll talk later.
Phenom T1 and
Oh,
two
she's just so
Texans.
much
We
happiness
also
telling
see
him to
a
go fuck
Voyager.
himself. Oh, what you did to me, you son of a bitch, with that whatever. Look at that. Will not talk to him.
Yes.
It just goes
yeah.
on and on. His own bloody father. Look at this.
Oh, as Laura just
Two of
said,
them
poor
have very
kids,
much
no
in touch
daddy's in
over
the
this
doghouse.
period where each of them
Look at
has
this.
been facing the
Won't
challenges
even
of
he gets the hat. He gets the hat. I'm your Eliza Doolittle. What did he say in the remote view? Why did you have to say that? You say the stupidest things. Why the hell did you have to say? I can't take you anywhere. Oh, because you don't like the way I talk. I'm a little freaking Eliza Doolittle. Well, here I am. I'm bloody Eliza Doolittle, you son of a...
the King and the
And look
President's
at you.
ways.
Everyone
On
loves
the
me,
balcony
and
at
you.
Buckingham
You're standing there like a bloody moron. What's your bloody Eliza Doolittle for you?
Yeah.
You're all
The King
applauding
will take
me.
leave
And look at
of
him.
Well,
Talking
that's
to the
true.
kids.
This
Talk to me.
extraordinarily
Somebody talk to me.
Wet.
Yeah.
And
Well,
yet
I told you, I've
splendid
picked up on that for a
day
long
for
time, that
sailing.
her
A
greatest
day that
strength
has marked
is her public support.
another year
She's far more
passing in
loved than
which
any of the
for
rest
the
of them,
King and the
and she
Princess
can
of
use that
Wales,
to her
there have been the
advantage.
additional challenges
Look at this.
of
He walks
cancer
behind
and
her.
their enduring
No, honey.
obstacles.
You come
going
behind
forward.
me.
But for
Look
the
at Sophie.
Princess
You
of
poor
Wales
son of a
and the
bitch.
Prince of
You
Wales,
poor.
much to
Look at
reflect
that
upon.
hand on the back. You poor miserable
Yeah.
bastard.
I tell you, they have to be really careful of lip readers right now. That I think they're getting better at picking up on what people are saying, or they better start covering their mouths or holding up little fans or something. That used to be a problem back in the days of silent movies. I know this is maybe
Yes.
just a little off track, but silent
No.
actors used to, move their lips, because no sound was being recorded. And sometimes they would purposely say a lot of swear words just for the hell of it, just for the fun of it, for laughs. But lip readers, like deaf people who could read lips, knew these actors were swearing, and they had to clean up their act very fast.
Very.
Yeah.
So, did you see what I saw?
I just saw a lot of cold distance, as you said. But what else did you pick up on?
Well, come on. He was the last. He was
the last.
He was ordered to leave. Sophie went behind and patted him because come on, and it was obvious the guy was in the doghouse.
Yes.
The family's fed up with his crap. He has completely torn that family apart with his crap, don't you think?
Well, it certainly seems that way. Certainly he's contributed heavily to it. And I think they're in damage control right now. And maybe part of that damage control is putting him back in line, disciplining him now so he gets the message, to behave better in the future. And certainly for the sake of the monarchy, whatever's going to be left of it by the time it falls to him.
Yeah, I agree.
It seems like the monarchy is dissipating rapidly ever since the Queen died.
Yeah. And maybe it needs to.
Maybe it does, yes.
Okay, so we're talking about movies, and I just want to show people. Here is Moving On. It was a trailer. Excuse me. It was released last year, March 17th. Didn't get a lot of traction because people were just coming out of COVID. It's just now being discovered on streaming. It is written by Diablo Cody.
She's brilliant.
It is a revenge comedy. We're talking about human relationships today, the pros and cons of relationships, romantic and otherwise. How do we cope with our own humanity? These complicated relationships, what can we learn from revenge comedy also? Those are all questions. Let's take a look at this 2-minute clip of Moving On, the official trailer, Diablo Cody.
A devoted wife and mother, a doting grandmother. Joyce was a wonderful woman.
Joyce. This is Claire, one of Joyce's oldest friends. They were at college together. Claire.
Howard, I'm gonna kill you. Now that she's gone, I'm gonna do it this weekend. Evelyn, I need to talk to you.
About what?
I told him I was gonna kill him.
I could chat. It's been 4.5 decades.
Feels like it was yesterday.
You were delusional.
She told me you were cruel. So, what's the plan, Scarface?
I'm gonna buy a gun. It was cute.
Very.
Want to hold it?
And I'm gonna take it to the wake.
How's the recoil?
Recoil?
I'm not gonna lie, it has a little kick.
Well, darn it, we tried.
Do you have any poison?
I have a cyanide pill in case I'm captured by the enemy. You can have it.
I want you to tell the truth.
I am shocked by your utter selfishness. You blame me for what happened in your own marriage. I think you were not built for happiness.
I'm in.
You're in what?
My other murder canceled this week, so I've got time.
I missed you.
You had my number.
Well, you had my number.
So we're both lousy friends.
Oh, Christ.
Why are you carrying that knife?
Oh, I was gonna stab someone.
Crab cakes?
Who is it?
It's Ralph. I slept with him last night. You have a condom. I don't want to get knocked up.
Okay.
I loved this movie.
Okay.
Even though I was aware of it, it was not something I would have watched had you not proposed that we review this and you called my attention to it. I watched it on Sunday and I was just captivated by it for a number of reasons. There were even parts of the movie that moved me to tears. There's a lot I could talk about, but I guess
please do go ahead.
But I guess
why should people see this movie? Why should why is it good for people to see revenge films? What is the benefit of it?
Well, that's kind of like a two-part question. So I'm going to say the first part about the movie is it's about moving beyond your past. The title Moving On, it's about moving beyond your past, but it's also about moving forward in your life, even if there's something painful in your past that stays with you. You learn how to learn from it, grow from it, or at least accept the presence of it in your life, but you go forward with that. So I thought that was a big message within the movie. But, I keep thinking back to what, when I was studying acting with Dee Wallace, she always said to us, as an actor, you're giving a gift. And that gift you're giving is you are taking people to places vicariously that they might never go on their own. You're making them feel it. You're making them live it, experiencing, but doing it in a way that's safe, but nonetheless enough to make you feel it, enough to provoke you, to make you think, to maybe change your actions, change your perceptions. So I think that's the greatest thing about so-called revenge comedies. They like what these women want to do. I guess is it okay to say parts of the plot that they want?
Well, yeah,
she wants to kill this man.
Yeah.
It's okay to. I just said it. I'm sorry.
She has unfinished business, I think, with that man, but and she wants to exact revenge because he's done this horrible thing to her, and now it revolves around her healing herself. She loses a lot because of what happens to her. She can't maintain a relationship with her husband.
No. Is it okay to say what it was, or do you feel we should?
Well, let's keep it vague.
Okay, I'll keep it vague. Okay,
because I really want people to see the movie. It's available on multiple streaming and for YouTube. How much was the cost? $5-6 to watch it? Not even that.
It was about that. It was about that. I'll have to check and see. I forget now, but it's not that much to rent. It's very easy. You can go on places like Hulu, Amazon Prime, Netflix, wherever you stream your movies. It's very easy to watch, very accessible. You can watch it on your phone, your tablet, watch it on your television set. But I love this movie. It had me thinking. It had me thinking about, I guess it's safe to say Fonda's character was seriously violated by this man. And we've all been violated. I've shared with you what I went through with kids bullying me in school, the psychological abuse I got from my mother. And so a lot of that was coming up for me that, men and women are both affected by violations, and we all have these things. It can either make us bitter, or we can learn from it and we can move on. Hence the title, Moving On. We can move on. It doesn't mean we're denying it, but we're accepting it. We're growing from this. And that's ultimately what I felt they did, even though she was going to the extreme of actually contemplating killing this perpetrator. It was even comical about how the only gun she could get was a flare gun.
Right.
And I don't want to give away the plot here. I got to watch what I say.
Did you feel that it was therapeutic? Do you feel it's therapeutic to watch the revenge comedies? And let's talk about why.
Yes.
Why is this good therapy for people?
Well, I think whether we want to admit it or not, we're multidimensional, all of us. So we all have our dark sides. We all have that side of us that wants revenge, that is a little sinister, that, yes, I want the worst to happen to this person. Let's admit it. We've all been there. but it doesn't mean we have to carry it out. So the great thing about a movie, especially this, because it's a comedy drama, so there's even laughs in this in between the very serious moments, but it allows you to live it vicariously, work through it vicariously. And like me, it had me thinking about a lot of things in my own life. And I can't help but think other people are going to feel that way also. And there was just a wonderful subplot in the movie. And again, I don't want to give anything away, but about this little boy. And I guess I better not talk about it. I don't want to ruin it. But
no, you can say, well, you can. It's a subplot. A little boy has gender dysphoria, right?
Yes, and Lily Tomlin was very supportive of him, almost like a surrogate grandmother. When she takes him to her jewelry box and says, pick out anything you want. It's okay. And he picks out a pair of rhinestone earrings and she gives them to him.
Yeah. But isn't his uncle a Muslim that just wants to eat bacon? Isn't that the other sub? Everyone, she goes to visit the uncle who's a devout Muslim, and the grandson is trying not to let people know he's a girl. And but I thought it was funny that she's like, anything for this guy, and he's like, get me some real bacon, man. She goes and gets him. He wants 4 strips of bacon, some real bacon.
That was great. And it's so funny. I was laughing about that because I eat bacon about once a year. And when I eat bacon? My birthday. I went out yesterday for a birthday brunch and I was bad. Pancakes with butter, syrup, bacon, sausage, cheese, eggs, all the stuff.
Enjoy
I know, but I do that once a year. But I was laughing because I just watched the movie and how much that man just wanted 4 strips of bacon.
Well, you know what?
I understand,
Oh my God, I almost went and bought some of this organic, uncured, smoked. We've got the most amazing real bacon here in Oregon. And I was thinking I'm going to just bring bacon into just do it. And then I stopped myself. But I was that easily influenced. Just watching.
It's so good.
Watching Jane Fonda cook up that bacon. I was going crazy. I love bacon.
Bad for us, but it's so good. I was savoring every little bite of that bacon yesterday, knowing it was going to have to last me for the rest of the year. But I was going to say also, I don't know if you have, but I've met Jane Fonda. I've met Lily Tomlin.
Yes, I have met Jane Fonda.
I've met Malcolm McDowell. So that always gives a little other dimension.
I might have met him. I don't know if I met him.
I
don't always recognize people.
And I've also seen Lily Tomlin and Jane Fonda individually on stage in plays. I've had that experience. And I just want to share this with about Jane Fonda. When I was living in West Hollywood, it was International Women's Day. And my apartment building, like 150 feet away, was this tiny, tiny little park. And guess what? Jane Fonda was there giving a speech, literally outside my door. And I remember it was like 10 in the morning. I thought, do I want to get dressed to go see this? And I thought, oh, come on, Chuck. Jane Fonda is 150 feet outside your door. How lazy can you be? Yes, put your clothes on. Go out there and see Jane Fonda. And I bring this up because actors like that have so much power. You get it on the screen, but because I was standing 10 feet from her when she was giving her speech, when she was in full performance mode, and I could literally feel powerful waves of energy just hitting me off of her. She has so much energy in her soul. And this was like when she was in her late 70s at the time. And she's in her 80s now. Just looks incredible. The most incredible carriage and posture, like that of a woman half her age.
Okay, well, now moving on to the next Diablo Cody just released recently. This is Lisa Frankenstein. Alas, her mother, the Miss Frankenstein, has died. I believe she had some experiments that she was doing with a tanning bed that went awry. And so her mother, the original Frankenstein, dies. So in her desperation, she goes to the grave of her mother. And next to the grave is a dead boy played by roll over Johnny Depp. There's a new kid on the block, and his name is Cole Sprouse. This kid is 10 times hotter than Johnny Depp.
Yeah, and dead and hot.
Right. But
His character, I mean, you know.
So she falls in love with him, and through magic, Frankenstein's monster is born. Let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer. Again, this is analyzing revenge comedies. Here is Lisa Frankenstein, written by Diablo Cody. Let's take a look.
Are you hot for me? Lisa! Does he have more of a basketball bod or a football bod?
He doesn't play sports. I tend to his grave.
I talked to him.
I wish I was with you.
That's really weird, Lisa.
You hear that?
I'm sure it's the girl next door. She's very odd.
Your hand? I can't believe you're here.
Do you like music?
I have the cure.
Oh,
Not that kind of cure. They can't make you better. I mean, they can, but like emotionally. No, don't cry.
your tears smell so bad.
Send it back.
No?
I love it. It's not really my style.
When you're in doubt.
Lisa looks good.
She could probably even do pageants if she had congeniality.
Your daughter is a little psycho. I opened my glorious home to an ungrateful little.
I want to help you, but Taffy says it's a waste of time to try and fix a wife. It's better just accept a guy's flaws.
Oh, that's so cute.
I have an idea. There are bad people out there.
Come on, Lisa. It'll feel good.
That hand is going to do terrible things.
You are being admitted. Inpatient. Lockdown.
I could get the clink for life or the electric chair, but I don't want to die a virgin.
You know anything about the disappearance of a student?
I'm not making any more comments. You can talk to my lawyer.
Really hope this goth phase ends soon.
Oh.
What'd you think?
Well, first of all, I love Diablo Cody movies. She's so original, so intriguing. I think this takes it about as far as she's ever gone.
Wow.
I'm wondering how much we can talk here because I don't want to give away key plot lines. But you know what came to mind immediately? Did you ever see The Shape of Water, where the woman fell in love with the sea creature?
Yes.
I kept thinking of that throughout this, where sometimes
It's actually very romantic, believe it or
it's
not.
very romantic. Both movies in their own way are very romantic.
Oh, yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
but I thought, how many of us have thought we are so unique that there's nobody out in the world who can match our own uniqueness? There's no one that special, and it means going to such extraordinary lengths. Like she had to go fall in love with a sea monster. This woman, a reanimated corpse. You know, a Frankenstein monster, so to speak. But that was to find her soulmate, to find someone who could understand her. And I kept thinking maybe that's even a metaphor for how sometimes when we're in despair with love, our despair is that deep that it's almost like a death almost. We've all been there, that in that death, that's where you find your soulmate, almost literally someone who's dead, that she has to reanimate. And then she proceeds to rebuild him, so to speak. You know, I guess it's okay to say that.
Yes,
and
of
like
course.
sewing on body parts and things. She's making him into her image of what she wants. Like her perfect man, so to
but
speak.
she's also that love is redemption, and that instead of it starts off as revenge, but then instead it becomes about mutual redemption.
Yes. Well, I mean, oh gosh, there's a scene that I'd love to talk about, but I'm afraid it's going to give away the plot if I do.
We
But
got 3 minutes because we have a guest and stuff. But briefly, did you like the film?
I loved Moving On a lot more. This movie I liked a lot. I don't know if I loved it, but I liked it a lot. I might want to watch it again. It was so unique. It wasn't what I didn't know what I was expecting when I started watching, because it is so original, so unique. But I could certainly see Diablo Cody's typical inventiveness and intelligence in the screenplay. And I can't quite think of a movie like this, other than maybe Shape of Water. But can you think of anything that's ever gone in this kind of direction?
Young Frankenstein, Mel Brooks.
That's true.
But I mean, what I loved it for so many reasons, because I think revenge comedy is a real therapy. There's a lot of people I'm mad at, and I was channeling Kali. I was channeling Kali coming back from Japan. Yeah. Like I was just infuriated because I had a lower intestinal bug, and just, you're uncomfortable and you need a restroom. And I was watching Lisa Frankenstein, and I laughed my head off the entire time, flying back to the States. And I thought, that is why revenge comedies are so damn important for our health.
I bet you will never look at tanning beds the same way.
Never again. So listen, did you have fun? Did you enjoy the hour?
Oh, I've had a great time, Whimsy. It's good to be back. It's good to have you back.
Oh, thank you. Well, you got me back for 2 more weeks. Then I'm off to Scandinavia for a couple of weeks.
Wow, you are amazing. You're just circling the globe.
Yes, unfortunately, getting coughs the whole time.
Well, we got to get you strong and well, and you are a gifted naturopath, so you will get yourself well.
Yes, I'm drinking. Anyway, if people want to get a reading with you, how do they contact you?
Yes. If you can see my name at the bottom, Chuckdransfield, it's just my name reversed, dransfieldchuck@gmail.com. Hopefully you can see my name for the spelling. Or you could shoot me a line on my YouTube channel, Chuck's Captivating Chronicles. Either way, I will see your message. I'd love to do a reading for you. It'd be an honor.
All right.
I've been doing several in the last month, and I truly mean it. It's an honor to read. Well, I know
you used to read for me, and now you don't read for me as much. But you never told me what I wanted to hear. I'm so glad you told me it was never going to work out with that guy, though, because he was a jerk. All right.
I have to be careful there.
All right. So moving on, please, if you went up and used a bathroom, God bless you. Take another seat. We had to do a quick bathroom break before we started because we knew we were going for an hour and a half. Anyway, our book of the month is The Fallen with Audrey Stidle. How do you like the book, Chuck?
Oh, it's excellent. She's a beautiful writer. I'm going to mention this to her. She's a very visual writer. Very sensory, very visual. I love books where I feel like I am just in that world, like a movie. And so conventional. I mean, the genres goes from romance to suspense.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's true.
Angels. There's so much, that seems to be a theme today. We're having to be careful not to give away plot points. So I have questions for her, more about her process, but I want her to talk about what she feels.
Well, let everybody give a warm welcome to Audrey Stidle. Welcome
Hi,
to the
Audrey.
Table,
Hello.
Audrey. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Your book is fabulous. You're a gifted writer.
Thank you,
Audrey. The statue behind you. My eye went right to that, and you were mentioning it briefly. Could you tell us about that, please?
Yes,
because it has significance with your story, doesn't it?
This is one of my inspirations, which is, in my opinion, it's a statue of a fallen angel. And if you look closely, you can see the agony in the expression of the face and the body.
Oh,
angel, which to me speaks volumes.
Yeah,
so,
even the wings. There's something about the drooping of the wings.
Like
there's emotion there.
There's emotion there. Thank you. Yeah, Chuck, you're right. To me, it's like wrapping yourself around yourself to protect yourself, or shame maybe for what you've done.
Yes.
But there's hope. So anyway, thank you.
And so many different angels also. We have our stereotypical angels, but I'm glad you mentioned that about despair, shame, humiliation, sorrow, I guess you're angels for just all of our emotions, all of our feelings, all of our situations.
100%. Yes.
Did you draw upon that in your writing? I'd love to hear about that.
So the book is called The Fallen, not just because of fallen angels. It's really because, in my opinion, we're all fallen. You know, we all, even the best of us, we're trying to make, the best of us are trying to make good choices. And we still fail, right? Then there are others that are not trying. You guys were mentioning a few of them during the last hour. Yes, I started writing this during COVID because I basically found myself with the opportunity to finish a book that I'd started. And it was very much based on a lot of things I had experienced in my own life, the theater, going to drama school in London, living among the mansions along Summit Avenue. Now, a lot of the people there may not realize, but Summit Avenue in St. Paul, Minnesota has about 3.5 or so miles on either side of mansions. And there are Victorian mansions, robber baron mansions, you know, you name it. So it's very cinematic. So I open the story as Rowan is running along those mansions. Now, I used to live and run along Summit Avenue. I used to live on a place called Ramsey Hill. It's where Summit Avenue ends, and there's a hill where you go down. And I lived in a brownstone there with my sister. And so that's also in the book, is the brownstone where Rowan lives with her brother. So there's a lot of my own experience living in London, and the paranormal experience, which I will not spoil. You have to read the book, but it did in fact happen to me. So, so I sat there and I thought, you know, I had written the first chapter, the last chapter, several key chapters, and then I started thinking about angels and eternity. I started thinking about, what if there were fallen angels that had been working their way back, right? They were living amongst us, but working their way back. So these are the good ones, right? So, and I started thinking about all of the things, if you just keep taking that back and thinking about all the things that they've experienced over thousands of years, and how you are experiencing what humanity is doing, making the same mistakes over and over and over again. And earlier in the podcast, you mentioned Navalny, who I adored. I'm definitely going to dedicate the second book to him as well, because he hadn't died when I finished this book. I had no idea he was going to be a martyr. Well, I had an idea, but yeah, I mean, he's the kind of person that I dedicated my book to, which is the heroes that walk amongst us, the people who have looked evil in the face and said no. Those are the angels that walk amongst us, in my opinion. So getting back to what I was thinking, I can't find the book I want to read, so I have to write it. You know, I have to write a book that is cinematic. I have to write a book that has a complex love story. I have to write a book that has these interesting locations like Morocco and the Twin Cities, and go to London and go to the bowels of the National Gallery, and go to Italy, the Amalfi Coast. Talk about a romantic place, right?
Oh yeah.
And then go to Scotland, which is where it ends. And I'm writing the sequel.
Well, you know something, this is a question I actually had for much later in the interview, but since you brought this up, I was going to ask, do you write with the perspective of your reader and what they're going to want, or do you write more for yourself? And it sounds to me like you were actually writing for yourself, and you said, I'm going to write the book that I would like to have, and then hand that to people. So I was going to ask you about that. I think you may have already answered that, but you might want to elaborate.
I did, and it was terrifying, because when you do that, you're opening up your entire soul.
Of course, that's the best writing.
So then
it's the best acting, the art, writing, when you open your soul.
And then you give it to someone, and if they reject it, they're rejecting you, right? So But thankfully, if you look on Amazon, go to Amazon, everyone. Go to The Fallen by Audrey Stidle and read the 5-star reviews that I have gotten. Thank you for all the people that have written them. Because they're really getting the spiritual aspects of this story. They're walking away. And that's the other thing. How many books do you read, or how many movies do you go to where you walk away with nothing? It was entertainment. You might have enjoyed it, but now those 2 hours are gone or whatever. And it's you know, you don't even remember. I have picked up books that I have forgotten I'd already read.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you know, if I'm halfway through the book, I'm like, oh, I've already read this book. You
Yes,
know?
I've done that. Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking of a quote Dolly Parton, of all people, said. She said, a good show should make you laugh, it should make you cry, and it should scare the hell out of you.
Exactly.
Meaning it just gives you all the dimensions. That's what stays with you.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, my question was actually kind of along that lines, was because your characters seem really fleshed out to me. I'm not that far into the book because unfortunately I didn't pack it, and I was really bummed about that. But I did spend last night reading the book, and I really got the impression that these characters are, you know, these people, you can see these people, you can see Christian, you can see Ashton, you can see what the character is seeing. You can feel her fear when she sees something and she can't explain it and it's coming at her, or she feels vulnerable at night. I really felt it like when she describes being vulnerable at night, because we've all had that sensation, or sleep paralysis, or we've pulled into something. We try to wake up from that dream and we can't get out of it. I just really feel the characters. I haven't even gotten that far and I'm already scared because I feel your character is so damn vulnerable. And I feel like everybody's got an agenda. And before, when I was only a few pages in, that's what I had said to people. I was like, man, do not go into that door. Do not let that man buy you coffee. I mean, like, were these people that you knew in real life? Were they based on people you knew?
No, but I do think that when you write, those characters come from a place inside of you, so you do know them. And I could visualize certain people. In fact, I have my perfect casting. If and when this is made into a movie or a TV series, if I ever had the pleasure of being able to nudge people.
Would you share with us?
Yes, I'm curious.
Well, my perfect casting for Ash, who is very much a part of this entire story, would be Henry Cavill. He's because he's a very excellent actor, but he can also play empathy. He can also play an enigmatic in a way where you're not sure, is he good or bad? Just like that razor's edge of like, I'm not sure. And that's what you need for Ash. In fact, my husband loved Ash. And I have a number of other people who've read it and they loved Ash. That was like their favorite character. But others loved Khalil in Morocco. And I mean, I love all my characters, so I can't.
Yeah.
I actually really bad ones, but they were fun.
I actually had a question. I wasn't even thinking of asking you, but what you just said about how you'd like Henry Cavill to play the character. I once worked on a screenplay and I had it in my head, Cate Blanchett was going to play the lead. So I was actually consciously and subconsciously writing it for her, visualizing her voice, her mannerisms, her look. Yep. Were you visualizing Henry when you wrote the character, if I may ask? Could he have colorized it some?
I was. Yes, I was.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I think actors use all kinds of things for inspiration.
I had visuals of all of my characters. At the same time with Rowan, I didn't want to give too much visual. When you read the book, you will see that she's described by the other characters. But I wanted since it's written in first person, I wanted people to sort of visualize. Everyone has their own idea of what's beautiful, right? I mean, everyone. Since I was an actor, I was on stage a lot and in voiceovers and commercials. And I remember one of my first roles was Annie in All My Sons. And before I even get on stage, they keep telling, keep talking about how beautiful Annie is. And the whole time I'm backstage, I'm thinking, crap, like half the people are going to be disappointed when I walk out on stage, right? Because everyone has their own idea. They want someone taller, they want someone thinner, they want someone more voluptuous, they want someone that's not me. That's what they visualize. So other people might be, happy. I don't know. But the point is that we all have our ideas.
Yeah. You're making me think about Clark Gable. He did not want to do Gone with the Wind for that very reason, because everybody had a perception of him as Rhett Butler. And he said, how am I going to live up to this? The public expectation is so high. And obviously he did the role, but he had those same concerns as what you're saying. I
think it's very vulnerable to be an actor anyway. You were an actor, so
Sure. Oh, yeah.
You go out on stage and you have performed this many times before you ever go to a live audience, correct? But the first time you walk out on stage, I remember that I used to feel I have a really strange reaction to stress, and that is that I start to get really sleepy and I start yawning and I lose all my energy.
Wow.
And then as soon as I got on stage, I was fine. But I'd always think opening night, critics are out there, all this stuff. And I'm thinking, and I was doing a lead in a show. So there was a lot of writing on my performance, but I would be thinking, why am I doing this to myself? Nobody's holding a gun to my head. This is not wartime, And then I would get out there and fine. But and then
for me, I always turned it into adrenaline. I know what you're talking about. That stage fright. That's usually the first 60 seconds you're on stage, and then once you settle into it, you're just fine. But in that beginning, I have found when I don't have the stage fright, that's when I'm in trouble. And others have said that too, because actually that's what energizes me. That's like the spark.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Most people are like you. I'm for whatever weird reason the opposite. And some of the people I used to work with, they would be throwing up backstage, and I'd be like, okay, that is not a reaction I could live with.
Yeah,
I've been there.
I have another question about the book. You said that the characters were not based on people you actually knew, but were they kind of constructed from various different ideas or experiences that you had?
Yes. And that's where I think that, I started to say earlier before we got on air about Stephen King being I'm a fan of Stephen King books. I grew up reading them. Love Picture of Dorian Gray as well, Oscar Wilde. I could go on, but I love the fact that Stephen King can write a minor character and make you care about them. And then they die in the next, page, and you're like, wait a minute. I actually really, I felt like I knew that person. And that's a gift. That is incredible.
That is a gift.
So when I was writing my characters, I was definitely visualizing them, thinking about their characteristics, thinking about how would they respond in these situations. And of course, you're bringing into your mind, people you knew and how they would react as you're writing it. So,
I've always, I don't want to interrupt you. So I was just going to say, I've always felt a great writer knows how to give each character a soul, a multi-dimensional soul. You feel their soul as you're reading, and that's what makes you care so much about them. And as you said, that's remarkable when you could take even a minor little character and then make you feel so deeply if they die a page or two later.
Exactly. Or a cat.
I'm thinking of Hitchcock. I'm making a Hitchcock in Psycho when he killed off Janet Leigh in the first 15 minutes of the movie or something. But
what was that about?
That had never been done before, where you took your top billed leading lady and killed her off at the beginning of the movie. But he wanted to do something so unexpected. And that's what that was. And I guess that's even a technique for someone like Stephen King to draw you into characters so much. And then, boom, they're gone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was going to say, I wanted to just welcome the audience. If you have any questions for Audrey Stidle about her writing, the book, if you've had a chance to read it, she's here to answer your questions. This is your chance, we do have a comment coming in from Elizabeth Watts Bromley. If you could please elaborate a little bit more on your craft. How do you work? How do you create the characters? Do you have like a format that you construct beforehand, or is it free flowing where you just let the story write itself? Can you talk a little bit about your how you do your craft?
Certainly. First of all, I found that the first thing I needed to do was separate myself from my normal life. So I would study Italian for about 20 minutes just to clear my head from that. Secondly, I would sit down and I would just reread what I wrote before. I mean, with a couple pages. And then I would start going forward from that. And the drama, the thing that I wanted them to experience or do next was very much what drove the dialogue. But I always keeping in mind as an example that I wrote this book in first person because I wanted you, the audience, to experience Rowan making these incremental choices like we do. Are we going to move forward? Or are we going to let fear overtake us, paralyze us, and stop what might turn out to be something, might be the best thing that ever happened to us, but we're scared, so we stop and we walk it back and we go, no, I'm not going there, right? So that's how I want the audience to experience this book. So so and then, you know, and also questioning. Whimsy, you were talking about that, like, is this person a good guy or are they not a good guy? Is that person someone you really should be scared of? Is this person someone you should trust? Those are all those little puzzles. As an empath,
if they're ugly, are they ugly? And if they're beautiful, are they beautiful?
Yeah.
You know, the person who may not have the nicest lips, but they're not necessarily a bad person. I mean, or or you know, the sexy seductive actor that's, you know, the Dorian Grays of the world that look beautiful but they're evil as whatever.
Make that point far into the book, but there is a character that is he is beautiful but he is ugly because
he's definitely flawed. Okay. Are you talking about okay,
you don't
maybe
meet later. We don't meet him
I'm not going to meet him till later. Okay. Before I know we are running out of time, I want to make sure to talk about the fact that this is part of there's a second book you're writing. Is that correct? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Because a lot of people, if you read this book, at the end will want something to have happened that I can't allow to have happened yet. And so everyone is left going, when do I get to read the sequel? So I'm like, I'm writing it, you know, but I know what I'm doing with it. I wrote into, there are World War II backstories in this book, one of which is a true story that I absolutely had to tell. And one of the reasons it's in Morocco, I won't spoil it by saying it, but also there were other things about Morocco that I am going to be showing in my second book. So again, I was laying seeds. Even the scene in the slums in Morocco is going to have a large impact in the second book. There's a reason that took place. And so I was laying all these seeds. And then after I finished it, I was thinking, I hope I get to write the second one. What if I get, you know, in a car crash or something? No, I mean, you really start thinking about like what, you know, like you really want to be able to finish it. What you have.
What's the name of the second book? What's the name of the second book?
It's called From the Ashes.
Interesting. I was thinking like the first one is Fall, and I would have the next one be called Caught. You know, you fall and then you get caught. Yeah. But what is that? Is it good that you got caught? But I would, you know, tongue in cheek, fallen, caught.
Yeah. But do you mean like rising from the ashes, like Phoenix rising? That's what I was thinking. That's in fallen and rising. You know, I was going to ask you, and
my
sorry, I know.
Amazing videos. If people could go on to Instagram or to TikTok, I have videos up there that my husband did. He's a 3D animator, stock photographer, commercial artist, and his work has been on CNN, Discovery, Disney, He was on the cover of Life magazine, and he did my cover, The Fallen, which I love. But his
Beautiful job.
videos are really
Yeah.
cool.
Well, I also love the subtlety of the feather. You see a little bit of the down, falling down. Is that what is?
If you
This
really
is suggesting
look
movement
at this,
here.
this is actually smoke rising
Smoke.
from
Okay.
from this, and you can
I
see
see.
it if you look at it. You can sort of see there's an angel here, but it's very subtle.
I
It's
do see
this.
it now.
This
It's
is
very
meant-
subtle.
This is meant to be the light coming down, and so the whole purpose of this book is because we are the light. We can be the light shining in the
Yeah.
darkness. There are all these people. Every single day we have a choice to be good, to do something for other people, to be kind. We talk about kindness, whimsy, and it's
Yes, we do.
such a powerful thing. So yeah, that I really want to inspire people to be, to think about those things.
Yeah.
And to walk a better
Well,
path.
I just wanted to thank you again, Audrey.
you.
If people would like to read Audrey's book, it is available on Amazon.com. It's an amazing read. And her second book, the sequel, will be called Ashes?
From the ashes.
From the ashes.
From the
All
ashes.
right.
Yeah.
I also want to say that drum roll, please. We should have a drum to do a drum roll or something.
Well, we'll remember that for next month. We'll
yes.
do that. Well, I could.
Okay, so our winner of the month, you are being granted a free reading, goes to Kathy Ainsworth. Kathy Ainsworth, please reach out to me, whimsyAnderson@gmail.com, or Chuck Dransfield, dransfieldchuck@gmail.com,
Yeah.
or however your email
I'll
is.
probably be the one talking to you, booking the appointment.
Yeah, either way.
I'm
book
her
the-
real life assistant.
That's right. And I also wanted to give a shout out to our book of the month for July. It is going to the amazing T.A. McLaughlin. T.A. McLaughlin, she wrote 2 books, part 1 and part 2. The Love of Taimni. Damn, does she not look powerful? That is our first book. It is sci-fi, fiction, fantasy.
Wow.
The love, man, do I love this genre. Powerful women. That's, and mysticism, supernatural, and a woman in a position of power. But, just like The Fallen, we got into that. But I love it when the lead is a woman. I don't know. Guys are cool, but I just like having strong women. And then if you get through her first book, Judgment of Seth is the second. Oh my God. Can you believe the artwork? Awesome. Very excited to start both of those books. Audrey, anything else you need our audience to know before we close today?
I just appreciate so much the opportunity to talk to you about this book, and I really hope people will buy it. It's the cost of 2 greeting cards these days. So
it's not expensive.
It can change your way of thinking. That's what I hope.
That's the thing I really like about Rowan is she gives people, not the point, but she gives people grace. That's what I'm starting to see. Like at that one scene that I told, when I got to that scene, I thought, well, I don't think I'm as nice as she is.
Well, she's definitely brave. She's definitely a strong woman, and that's what I wanted to write. But she's going to be challenged through this book for sure.
That's what you've done. As an actress, are you going to do your own audiobook?
Oh, thank you.
Do you have any plans for that?
Thank you for saying that.
I love to hear authors read their own work.
I've heard that many times. I'm considering it. I actually have done voiceover work, but I am also scouting some voices. I'm looking at the Twin Cities right now because that's where a lot of the book starts, and there's a lot of actors there. So I'm checking those out. Yeah.
To me, there's nothing more fascinating.
I think it should be you. Why is it?
Yeah, they should come from the author, where the words originated. We sometimes let authors read their own work on the show, and I always
yes. Would you like to go ahead and close us out by reading a section of your book? I think we'd all very much enjoy that.
Okay, how many minutes do I have? Do I have any minutes?
We said that you could stay, until our bladders can't hold, which
Okay.
for me,
Okay.
I'll be
All right.
honest with you, is about 5 more minutes. So.
Okay, that should
Yeah.
work. This is the
Okay.
attic. And this is in the attic. And Rowan is about to go into an attic.
Oh, okay.
Leaving the remains of my tea by the bedside, I made my way to the doorway of the attic, certain that it would be locked. Finding it ajar, I felt my heart pounding and thought, it's as if something is inviting me to the other side. Pushing the door open, I paused, waiting for my breathing to slow, and then I reached through the dark for the switch, finding nothing at all but the cold surface of the wall. Then my fingers grazed the toggle, and I flicked on the light, jumping back at the sight of the steep wooden staircase before me. Illuminated now, the stairs seemed steeper than before, while up ahead, the attic was bathed in darkness. Suddenly, I did not want to go up there, certainly not by myself. But this was what I had come for after all, proof that I wasn't crazy and that something was wrong. Ascending the stairs, I gripped the wooden railing with hands that were shaking. Halfway up, I heard the groan of the old steps and then the creak of the door behind me. Why hadn't I thought to close it? Calling out Christian's name, I paused, hoping against hope that he had come home early. Hearing nothing, I turned to look behind me, seeing only the open doorway below. Focusing on each step, my eyes adjusted to the light coming from the east, but it barely touched that side of the house at this hour, and what little there was came from the single skylight. Approaching the landing, I was suddenly terrified of what I didn't know, but the sense that something was out of place was growing with each step. Reaching the top of the staircase, I paused. The wind outside was moving debris along the surface of the house, making it sound as if something was crawling along the roof. It was nothing, I told myself. My imagination was getting the better of me. After all, I had spent hours up here by myself only yesterday. I remembered that Christian had pulled on a cord at the top of the staircase, but all I could see now was empty space. A sound came from the rooftop like something alive, scrabbling against the surface of the ceiling itself. The house, which had always seemed warm and lovely with Christian in it, now seemed vast and empty and lonely as a tomb. Shaking, I forced myself to move forward, finally coming to the box of photographs and newspaper clippings that I had left on the floor. Kneeling, I took several deep breaths to calm myself and then pulled the box onto my lap. Slowly, I began to sift through each one, finding photos of his mother that I'd failed to see before, and pictures of his parents smiling and hugging one another. There were several photos of Christian in a soccer uniform holding awards, and always in the same school uniform, his fair hair changing from pale blonde to ash as he grew older, while his almond-shaped eyes remained the same. There were endless newspaper reviews of his father's books and a handful of his mother's art exhibits, but the picture that I remembered seeing so vividly was gone. Someone had taken it. I stood up, a chill running down my spine. I'd been prepared to be wrong about it, but not to find it missing. Suddenly, the wind shifted against the house with a rustling, scrabbling sound, and I could trace the movements of something along the roof coming closer to where I stood. Hearing an unearthly moan coming from another direction, I turned towards it, feeling an icy draft and then a presence just behind me. My heart was pounding as I spun around again, prepared to confront whatever it was that was haunting me. But there was nothing there but the empty space and my heart slamming in my chest. Instinct told me to run, and I started down the stairs, a cold blast moving past me with such force that I stopped just as the door slammed in front of me. Stifling a scream, I stood frozen, leaning against the banister and utterly paralyzed with fear. Something was terribly wrong.
Oh, God. You write so well. You're such a good writer. I mean, you remind me of Hitchcock. It's so interesting that we talked about Hitchcock tonight, because I really think about Hitchcock and the way she sets the scenes. It just scares the hell out of me. You can see the door open. You can see her there. She's looking for the book. She can't find. Oh, my God. I'm ready to lose it. Anyway, thank you so much, Audrey.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for sharing with us.
Yes, and thank you to all of you who have decided to join us today. Again, if you would love to read Audrey Stidle's book, please check out her book on Amazon. Debbie has been kind enough to put a link in the talk for people. I guess we are out of here. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you. If you are a student of HCRV and the Tarot, I will see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Standard Time. All right. Stay where you are, everybody. And